Right, we are recording, which is good. Hi, Ellen. How are you?
Hi Scott, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very good, yeah. So, for the benefit of everyone watching this, you are Ellen. You are a trainee health psychologist at Kidderminster College, and I'm Scott from Mass Records. But we thought we'd put together a quick video interview, just getting your thoughts really on how our students and staff as well could cope with having to work from home for the next few weeks at least. Anyway, we know it's going to be at least for another 3 weeks as it stands today, but it could go on for a bit longer, really, couldn't it? So, first question, if you don't mind us going straight into it, then, Ellen,
Yeah, that's
what's
great.
kind of your advice for our students, staff coping with studying and working from home all in the same place?
So I think some of us will have had experience of working from home and some of us won't in our lives. And I think it can be a really big change. And obviously staff and students working at a college are very used to being in work, being around people, having that structure of coming into work at a certain time, leaving at a certain time, having lunch at a certain time. And I think for some of us that keeps us going and we like that routine. So what I would suggest firstly is to, while you're at home, try and have some form of routine and structure to your day. As you've probably already noticed from being at home for a bit, the days can kind of merge into one. Sometimes you wake up and you think, what day is it? Because you've not got that touch with other people, you've not got that touch with the community, and you've not got those external things keeping you in check. So I think one of the good things would be to say, get up at the same time in the weekdays every day as you would start your working day, and go to bed at the same time, so you kind of have that working day structure. Make sure you have a lunch break and have breaks throughout the day. So obviously it can be really difficult to just sit on your computer all day without any kind of interaction from anyone, whereas at work you would obviously have people around you, you'd be teaching lessons, you'd be seeing other people. Having just a laptop in front of you can be quite isolating and quite, you can feel a little bit cut off from society. So I would say take a break, do something else during your working day, and don't just sit staring at your computer all day. Make sure you maybe get up in the morning, get dressed, have a shower, same as you would normally, because you might start to feel after a while that you're just not at work and you might not feel motivated, and having that positive start to the day can really help, I think, in terms of getting up, getting dressed, looking after yourself in that way and having that structure.
I think what's helped our team as well is the video conferencing facility to actually have face-to-face like we are now. Because when you're at work, obviously you are talking to people face-to-face a lot of the time, and it's communicating. So having the facility still to have those face-to-face meetings is actually quite important, rather than, we'll just do this as a phone call. Do you think that's a good idea still?
I think that's great. And I think what's happened now, one of the positives of this, if you can say, there are any positives, is that a lot of people are getting up to date with this technology that's been available for some time, I guess, but it's bringing people together in a way that they haven't before, and they're learning new skills about how to use online technology, how to connect with students virtually. Students are connecting into their lessons virtually. And if you want to think really positively about this, one of the great things about that ability to connect virtually via video conferencing is that there are fewer cars on the road now. So the planet as a whole is obviously becoming healthier because of the lack of travel between different places. We also, if you think about it, that travel sometimes into work can be really stressful on the roads and the traffic. So if you want to look at a positive side of video conferencing, although you don't get that face-to-face, there is that reduced time that you have to travel into work. That you can use productively for yourself. And so I think learning to video conference and learning the different platforms has been a real positive to all of this. Out of a negative comes a positive. So I think this will be something that after this is all over, something that people will use as a tool, and a really important tool that we'll all have as a society. So I think that is a positive
It's good, yeah, because you still get to check in with people. So what we're tending to do is check in the mornings, go off and do our various tasks that we need to do, and then check back in. But still having that face-to-face contact is working really well, we think.
Definitely. I think having that face-to-face rather than just a phone call as well gives
Yeah.
you the ability to still interact with people and still see people and not feel like you're just living in a bubble on your own.
Yeah, it's really important, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how would you advise people look after their health while they're staying at home as well?
So I think as I'm training to be a health psychologist, we study a lot how your physical health can really affect your mental health and your psychological processes. So one of the big things, we help people to get more exercise, to eat healthily, to do all of these small changes in day-to-day life.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is a really exceptional circumstance and a unprecedented situation. So we're all obviously, the majority of us are confined to our homes now, with only kind of limited access to the outside world. I would say try, if you can, to stick to a similar routine than you had when you were going out to work and going out to college. So, try and have a healthy breakfast, lunch and dinner. We're all guilty of it. It's really difficult when you're at home not to go into the fridge all the time. Try and keep to that structure of having healthy meals throughout the day. Where you can exercise, so gentle exercise is just as good as really vigorous exercise. So where you can, try and get 30 minutes of exercise a day, even if it's just a walk. And then also, if you try and get some sunlight, we obviously, being at home is going to be really difficult for people who enjoy being outside, but for all of us it's really important that we're getting some sunlight. So if you don't have a garden, use the opportunity to just go outside for a couple of minutes, obviously staying safe and everything, and have that sun on your face, because it's really important. And it's quite easy to stay indoors and not see anyone or communicate with anyone or get any natural light or fresh air. So getting fresh air and natural light is really important.
I guess vitamin D is it's a big part of recovery as well, isn't it? For getting over any type of illness as well. It's always been
absolutely, and it'll help your immune system, and it will just make you feel a bit fresher and a bit better.
Yeah.
I'd also say, take the time to take care of yourself. Self-care is really important. So, like I said before, getting up, getting dressed, like showering, all of that. Doing nice things for yourself, taking time to relax. It's all really part of it, and we've got this opportunity now to have a little bit more time while we are still working and studying from home.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good opportunity to reflect and relax and meditate at the same time.
So I think going back to what you're saying before as well, it sounds like what I'm picking up from what you said is having boundaries is quite important to kind of separate. Work is at this time in the day, and then you suddenly stop work, and then your weekends, perhaps, as an example, you are not even coming to emails and things like that, and you happen to separate the two spaces within your house. Is that a good idea as well?
I think that's a really good idea. I think what we're kind of guilty of is, because we have devices that have our emails coming into them, and we're always online now. There's no switch off. I think it is important that if you don't work at the weekends normally, you shouldn't now let the time in the week bleed into the weekends just because you're at home. Yeah. So if you do keep that structure, try not to work. Try not to be working all night if that's not what you would normally do. Try and keep that regular routine, because I think you can quite quickly, say, and also, like you say, checking in with people keeps that routine for you. So if you do have a morning catch up, or even a morning phone call, that gets you up, it gets you moving, and it means you're not working later than you need to then into the evening, when you should be using that time, for spending time with family or relaxing or doing any recreational activities you want to do at home. So I would say that was really important. That was sort of the main piece of advice, is to keep that regular routine as best you can. And obviously it is difficult, and none of us are able to do that all the time, especially if we're very used to having that structure in our lives going into college. But it will improve your mood, it will improve your productivity, and it will help you sleep better and keep on top of your health as well.